Welcome back to the Nerdy Grail and welcome to another brand new ranking video here on the channel, this time on a video game franchise. Now as you can see behind me, I've got a few of my Super Mario video games, and that's because ever since we had the Nintendo Direct, which came out a little while ago now, where they revealed lots of brand new games, and in particular obviously the new Super Mario Galaxy movie, and obviously the Super Mario Galaxy and the Super Mario Galaxy 2 re-releases, or release for Super Mario Galaxy 2 with the double pack, and it's caused a lot of controversy. It's caused a lot of people to talk, you know, in particular obviously Nintendo fans starting to complain about the prices and how the games are too expensive, which in my opinion I do agree they are really expensive. I don't think they should be as expensive as they are. I think they are starting to price certain people out of playing these games, and when you consider how old these games are, I mean, look in particular, I've got Super Mario Galaxy 1 and Super Mario Galaxy 2 on the Wii, so that tells you now how old these games are. And to charge in America $40 if you want them individually, or roughly £34 over here if you want them individually, or $70, you know, for the double pack, it is a bit much, especially for games that they're not really adding an awful lot to it. In particular, Super Mario Galaxy 1, which as you can see is already on the Nintendo Switch in the Super Mario 3D All-Stars triple pack. So what's being added really, apart from a new storybook, maybe some graphical changes, but barely even that. So it has got a lot of people talking, but it did get me reminiscing back on the mainline 3D platformer Mario games. There's not been an awful lot, and a lot of people now are starting to think, what could the next game be? A lot of people are predicting that since we got a new Galaxy movie, the next Mario movie's themed off Super Mario Galaxy, and obviously now the double pack of Super Mario Galaxy 1 and Super Mario Galaxy 2, it's got people thinking that perhaps the next game could in fact be maybe Super Mario Galaxy 3. I know the games that come into people's mind when they want a new Mario game is either Super Mario Galaxy 3 or Super Mario Odyssey 2, because they are some of the most popular games within the Mario franchise, in particular the 3D platformer variants of the Mario games. So I wanted to look back on all those games, and I thought I would do a bit of a ranking, at least in my personal opinion, in how I would rate the games. And I'm going to be rating them on lots of different things. I'm going to do it in a tier list-esque format, a bit like my Doctor Who videos that I've done and other tier lists in the past. But this is going to be themed a lot differently to my normal tier lists, which you will see very shortly. But I'm going to be basing my thoughts on the games based on sort of the story to a degree, because a lot of the 3D Marios have an actual story. The music is key for me in any video game, so I will be obviously ranking it based on the music, based on personal enjoyment of the game through my own experiences of playing it, because obviously everyone's experiences are different, but they're just some of the things. And the replayability of the game, you know, how often I'm going to want to go back and play it, and is this stuff for me to do that will make me and warrant me wanting to go back and playing them. That's just some of the things that I'm going to be considering when ranking these video games. But without any further ado, let's waste no more time. I have rambled on a little bit, so sit back. I do have a cup of tea on standby ready for this ranking video. So get ready for my ranking of every 3D Mario platformer in my personal opinion. Okay, so this is my tier list ranking all the Super Mario 3D games. These are all the mainline ones, so if you search them up, these are the ones that pop up. There's only 10 games to choose from, and most of them are different ports or re-releases of the games. But we can all agree that these are some fairly solid games. That's why, as you can see the tier list, there's only 4 categories. We've got All-Star, Great, Good, and Meh, because I don't personally think any of these games are bad. You know, I think they're all pretty good games, and they've all given me some level of enjoyment. So All-Star are like the perfect games. The games that I really love, I've replayed loads, and I can't find many faults with. Then you've got Great, so these are almost close to perfect games. Games that I will come round to replaying a couple of times here and there. Then we've got Good, so these are games that I came away thinking, yeah, this is a pretty solid game, and I think I will go back to playing it again at some point. And then we got Meh, these are the okay games that I've enjoyed, but, you know, I've not rushed to finish them like I have the other games, and I've not wanted to go back and play them as often as the others. So that's just sort of how I'm playing it. So first off, we've got Super Mario 64, which I'm going to put in great. I know some people might say it's All-Star. Look, it is a fantastic game. I've played it on the 3D All-Stars variant. I played it when a friend gave it to me years and years ago. It is a fun game. I like the levels. I like the star format. You know, there's a lot of variety in the different challenges and the different paintings that you get to go into and explore different worlds and different sections of the castle. I think it is all done really, really nicely. And visually, it is, you know, debatably a little bit outdated now, but I think overall it still holds up. And it is a fairly great and enjoyable game. And I know that is obviously one of the reasons why it was picked for to be a 3D All-Star, because it is, you know, it is a good, solid foundation of what a 3D Mario could be, and it does pull it off very well. Super Mario Sunshine I'm actually going to put into good. Obviously, I've also played this on the 3D All-Stars, but I have played the GameCube version as well. A lot of people don't like this game because of the FLUDD mechanic. They think that FLUDD is a little bit too clunky. FLUDD slows the pace down of the game. FLUDD can be really annoying. I think it's really good. It is a bit clunky. I'm not huge on FLUDD, if I'm perfectly honest. I do think the pacing of this game does suffer a lot. But I think in terms of what this game is trying to go for and being unique and different, and obviously the theming of the game being set on this tropical island paradise, and Mario is on holiday and ends up getting accused of a crime that he didn't actually commit, you know, and is sentenced to clean the whole island. I think for theming-wise, it is perfect. And it does have some good things, like, you know, you use FLUDD in lots of stages to help you out, to get you through the levels, to defeat bosses, to clean the island. That's the whole point. But I do like the little hidden zones you get, where you get to tackle some good old platforming where Shadow Mario, one of the antagonists of the game, takes the FLUDD away and you have to do it classic style, and then you get to replay those levels later on with FLUDD, and it adds a new layer to it and a new challenge. But I must admit, out of the 3D All-Stars, it is the one I go back to play the least. It is a game that I don't revisit very often. I think the music is pretty decent. It's not my favourite Mario soundtrack, but it is okay. Visually, it's not too bad. But yeah, it's a good game, but just nothing spectacular. This one might be a bit controversial, just depending on your thoughts on 64. But I think Super Mario 64 DS is my superior version of the game. It is the version I played first. I think it just adds to what Super Mario 64 already is. It adds to that already great game and gives you a little bit more. Obviously, it's got updated, like, visually, you know, because it's on the DS, and Mario and all have the new designs. You've got new characters that you can play as well, like Luigi and Wario and my boy Yoshi. And if you include Yoshi in a game, I'm going to love it. And I just think, yeah, it's just Super Mario 64, but just with more greatness to it. Again, similar soundtrack, good, same premise, more or less the same world that you get to travel to, just visually a little bit better and a little bit more improved, you know? It is just an improved version of 64, and it is the version that a lot of people thought, why didn't they implement that in the 3D All-Stars variant? But yeah, I personally prefer 3D, the DS variant, but if you prefer the regular version, I think that's fine too. They're both fantastic games. Super Mario Galaxy, for me, is going into All-Star. It is perfect. It is what we're all here for. We've got the Super Mario Galaxy movie coming out. We're looking forward to the double pack. Some people are. Obviously, not everyone, because it is way too expensive, and it is just a third variant of the game again, with very little change to it. Nintendo are sort of, like I said, they're trying to coax people out, and they're buying people out and pricing people out now. It's gotten a bit ridiculous now, I think, personally. But that doesn't mean that Galaxy isn't one of the best Mario games of all time. Visually, it's beautiful. The planets, the plotline of Bowser stealing Peach's castle, taking it to space, and Mario's got to go and find her is great. The music is some of the best I've ever heard in the Mario franchise. I need that vinyl soundtrack if it comes out for the Super Mario Galaxy movie. It is just an all-round great game with lots of replayability. I love the like all the challenges that you can do. You know, taking where you do races, where you have to battle enemies and do levels with lower health and all sorts. I love all those challenges. It gives the game an extra layer. And there's lots of different play styles in the game as well. It's just an all-round great game. And that follows straight on also into Galaxy 2. I think this one is also an all-star game. Fantastic. Adds to Mario Galaxy. Adds my boy Yoshi, which I adore. I love all the costumes as well. I should have mentioned that with Galaxy 1, like the bee suit. I think then the addition of other suits in Galaxy 2, like the cloud costume and the rock suit and stuff like that, I think is all fantastic and adds new ways to play the game. I think it's actually debatably a little bit harder of a game. I love all the comet stuff as well. You know, like I said, battling enemies and doing levels with only 1 health. Racing a shadow variant of yourself. All that is great. It's very nostalgic and it is a gorgeous, beautiful game that is perfectly well paced. So the Galaxy games are both all-star. Super Mario 3D Land for me, I would say is probably meh. It is the one game on this list that I replayed the least. I'm not huge, and it's contradictory based on my list, on the DS, 3DS Mario games, really. Apart from, obviously, 64, I think that one's great. But it's just not one I revisit very often. And in my personal opinion, at the time, you got 3D Land and 3D World. And I sort of always wanted to play 3D World more than 3D Land. 3D Land's music is still pretty good, and visually it's not too bad. You know, for what it's worth, you know, the 3DS was an experimental jump, you know, in technology for Nintendo. Sort of the starting bridge gap then leading up to things like the Wii U and the Nintendo Switch, you know. They were really testing the boundaries and it's done pretty well. But it is just one that I don't find myself revisiting very often. I've probably only played it 2 or 3 times, if I'm honest. I've definitely played that game the least out of every game on this list. Doesn't mean it's a bad game, so if you think this should be higher on the list, like I said, let me know your lists in the comments below. But in my personal opinion, I'm not overly too keen on 3D Land. 3D World, on the other hand, I think is a great game. This, like I said, this is the variant that I wanted to play the most. This is one of the reasons I got a Wii U. I think, you know, visually it's absolutely stunning. I think the gameplay styles are great. I think the cat costume is a fantastic addition to the Mario franchise. The variety of characters you get to play, from Mario, Luigi, Toad, Peach, all of them I think are done really, really well. The characters like Plessy, where you've got different game styles. I think the Captain Toad missions really break up the flow as well. I think they're a nice touch, and Captain Toad even got his own little game. Because of how popular they were at the time, I think that's really, really nice. It is just an all-round stunning fun game with, again, some fantastic music and large variety in terms of worlds to travel to. So it is a stunning game, which does get then improved upon a little bit later on in the Switch port. Super Mario Odyssey, I think it would be a crime against nature if I didn't put that game in All-Star, because it is a fantastic game. One of the first Switch games. It really showed off the power of the Switch. You know, showed off some fantastic new game mechanics. I think the mechanic of Cappy is really interesting. Mario getting to possess, you know, creatures and enemies and inanimate objects. It's just a really good way to go about it. Possessing Bowser, giving him a little moustache and a hat. I think it's just fun. All the kingdoms are stunning. The music is gorgeous. The pacing is fantastic. The variety in challenges is through the roof. The costumes that you can purchase, making coin collecting more fun and actually have a purpose. It's all just brilliant. You can spend hours playing this game, and it is just fantastic. The only criticism I have is there's a few too many Power Moons. Did we really need as many Power Moons as we got? It makes some of them very redundant, some of them very repetitive. You know, yeah, it does get to me a little bit at times, but overall, Super Mario Odyssey, fantastic. Can we get Super Mario Odyssey 2, please? Now, 3D All-Stars, I'm going to put in good, and I'm going to justify why, because you're probably thinking, well, hold on. Galaxy's in All-Star, 64's in great, that's in good, so why is that overall in good? It's because of the expectation, because we've already got Galaxy coming out again, so some people might just get the Galaxy double pack, and so that makes Galaxy in there redundant. For me, Sunshine is just a good game, and 64, despite me saying it's a great game, obviously I do prefer the DS variant. So overall, that collection of games, I think, it is good. But the expectations we had for the 35th anniversary of Mario were a lot higher than what we ended up getting in this very limited run game, which, you know, is now a lot more redundant because some of these games are available in other ways, through emulation or through, like I said, being released in other future packs and stuff. So it does make it very, you know, pointless of a anniversary game, and they don't actually add an awful lot to said games. So they improved them a little bit graphically and stuff. They included the soundtracks, but it was very bare bones and basic in the physical version. So for me, yes, it's a good game. It's got a collection of some fantastic games, but they didn't do an awful lot to warrant me putting it in All-Star, if I'm perfectly honest. And finally, we've got 3D World and Bowser's Fury, which I'm going to put in great, because they overall are really great games, just like the original 3D World. It adds to it with a nice DLC-esque story in Bowser's Fury, which takes you on a bit of a journey in a bit of a 3D open space, a bit like Sunshine and Odyssey and stuff like that combined. You know, I think it's done really, really well and adds an extra bit of challenge to the game. The improvements they made from the Wii U edition, speeding up some of the characters, the music is still great. You know, it just basically took 3D World, ported it to the Switch, added a new story, and touched up a couple of the little glitches and bits and pieces that people complained about, basically making the superior version of the game. It is a fantastic version, but doesn't mean that the Wii U version isn't good as well, but obviously you don't have Bowser's Fury. But yeah, so that overall is my ranking of the Super Mario 3D mainline games. I know some people may disagree with my list, and that's perfectly fine, but this is how it stands for me at the moment, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the next 3D Mario is actually going to be. But this is going to be my ranking of these Mario games. If you enjoyed this video, please like it by giving it a thumbs up and comment down below your thoughts and also what would your list be. But remember, keep all comments respectful, please. And subscribe if you are new. But for now, this is the Nerdy Grail signing off. I hope you've had an amazing day and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now, everyone.